Well, hello everybody and welcome back to a Mandala Arts crochet video. I know there's a little bit of wobble on my camera, so I hope you'll forgive that, but I've got it on an arm and it kind of moves a bit, so it's not me, it's the camera. So I hope that's okay with you and you can still follow the video. So today we're going to be making a little purse or case. Now you can use this for all sorts of things. You could use it to put pencils and pens, you can put sunglasses, glasses, crochet hooks, maybe even your mobile phone perhaps. But it's a very useful little piece of equipment, and it uses up all your scraps of yarn, your leftover bits of yarn. And it's a really good beginner's project as well. So as you can see, it's just a strip of single crochet rows folded over and with a buttonhole and a button. Really simple, and then just trimmed with a contrast yarn. Now for the purposes of the video, I'm going to make quite a small version because it does get quite tedious because all the rows are the same stitch. So and I might make it in two halves, so I will do the first bit and then show you the second bit, the making up. So anyway, just to get started, we are going to need the main colour yarn. So for that I've decided to go for this dark tealy turquoise, and a contrast to go around the edges, which I've chosen this bright yellowy buttercup yellow. You're also going to need a button, so I've chosen one that matches the trim, pair of scissors, and tapestry needle for darning in your ends, and your crochet hook. Now because I'm using double knitting yarn today, I've decided I'm going to use a 4mm hook. Now if you were using a chunkier yarn like Aran, or an even more chunky one, then you would have to use a bigger hook. I wouldn't recommend going much smaller because it gets very boring otherwise. So yeah, 4mm hook. So let's get started. So I'm going to move these out of the way. Alright, so I'm assuming that you guys probably know how to do a chain. So we're going to do a slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 12. I do vary the number of stitches depending on the yarn. If I was making it with a chunkier yarn, I'd probably do fewer stitches. So anyway, I'm going to do 12 chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've done my 12. So now I'm going to do an extra chain, and then I'm going to start my foundation row going back to the left in the top of the chain after the one I'm coming out of, so to speak. So I'm going to do single crochet, hook in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your American single crochet. So again, same thing again, in, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull it through 2. In the top of the chain, pull through, yarn over, through 2. And this is your foundation row, so it may be a wee bit tricky to get started, but you just go all the way back across the row. Here we go, almost there. And in that final little tight one at the end, here we go. Okay, so now we're going to turn the work over, so flip it over, then I'm going to chain 1, and to keep it nice and straight I'm going to miss that first stitch here, and I'm going to start single crocheting back along the row, starting in this particular stitch, the second one, and I'm going all the way through the 2 little V's that you can see there. So it's single crochet again, and again all the way back along the row. And don't forget to do it in that little loopy one at the end. Okay. Right, so I'm going to turn my work one more time. Now this time we are going to put the buttonhole in. So I'm going to leave a gap of 2 chain or 2 stitches for the buttonhole, and as I've done 12, I'm going to do 2 blocks of 5 with a little gap of 2 in the middle. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to count that first stitch, but I'm not going to crochet into it. I'm going to start here. So that's number 2, 3, 4 and 5. So to make the buttonhole, I'm going to ignore those 2 little stitches there. I'm going to do a chain 2, 1 and 2, and then I'm going to resume my single crochets in the 3rd one along. So here we go. So I'm going to continue right to the end of the row, and that end bit's always a bit tricky, so I just poke your hook in there and do your last single crochet. So if you can see there's that little gap, that's a buttonhole. Now unless you've got a really gigantic button, most buttons, largish buttons, will go through, so I'll just show you that. As you can see, even though it's quite a big button, it still slides through. Okay, so we're going to turn our work again, another chain, missing that first one, straight in the second one, and we're going to go back along the row. So we've done 3, 4, we've done 5. Okay, so now we've come to our gap. There's different ways you can do it, but the easiest way is to just go through underneath the chain, catch the yarn as if you're doing a single crochet, and then just single crochet. Then do another single crochet, same way, and then you just resume your row as if you were doing a straightforward row down the line, so to speak. Okay. And don't forget your end one. I must admit, I confess I have to bodge that a little bit sometimes because it's not always clear where it has to go in. So now you can see we've got a decent little hole there. That's our buttonhole. So we're going to continue as we've already done by chaining, missing our first stitch, and straight into the next one. And now we are just going to continue with straight rows until we have our desired length. So I'm going to leave you and come back when I've done a few more rows, and we can resume together. I'll try and get the required length, and again you do as many as you want, so you've got a continuous strip. So I'll see you in a short while.